You know that feeling of waking up absolutely exhausted? Well, what if that's not just a symptom of a crazy schedule, but a literal glitch in your body's foundational programming? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're not just talking about general health. We are going to reveal the hidden operating system that governs human life. We're diving deep into the invisible biological forces shaping your sleep, your emotional resilience, your brain health, and ultimately, your longevity. Because every symptom you're experiencing is actually a clue, and today, we're going to decode the mystery beneath it all.
So think about everyday exhaustion, brain fog, or just generally poor sleep. Most of us, right? We just brush these off as annoyances. We pour another cup of coffee and push through. But we really need to reframe this. These aren't just annoyances. They are literal check engine lights for a hidden biochemical crisis happening right down at the cellular level. See, when your sleep fragments, it throws off your hormones. Those hormones then hijack your emotions. Your emotions dictate your behavior, and that behavior, it directly alters your biology and the entire trajectory of how you age.
And the crazy thing is, this crisis is happening on a massive, totally invisible scale. Look at this staggering number. 1 billion people worldwide suffer from a deficiency or insufficiency in a single molecule. Let that sink in. That is literally 1/8 of the human population walking around right now with a compromised biological operating system. It sets the stage for a massive medical mystery, and honestly, the consequences go so much further than anything most of us have ever been taught.
Okay, so to really understand this hidden system, we've got to completely shatter an outdated myth. Vitamin D is not just some bone vitamin you get from drinking milk. Actually, scratch that. It's way more than a nutrient. It's a master neuroendocrine pro-hormone. Think of it like a master password that unlocks your body's entire operating system. Receptors for this hormone are densely packed into the exact, highly specific regions of your brain that regulate your sleep-wake cycles, muscle paralysis during deep sleep, and get this, even your social behavior.
Part 1. The Serotonin-Melatonin Master Switch. Now, the research here reveals an absolutely brilliant genetic switch. Vitamin D acts as a master conductor for an enzyme that comes in two forms. On one hand, it completely inhibits the gene that overproduces serotonin in your gut, which stops systemic inflammation dead in its tracks. But at the exact same time, it activates the gene that creates serotonin exclusively inside your brain to promote a healthy mood. It's just a perfectly elegant balancing act. And here's the deeper mechanism most people completely miss. Why does brain serotonin matter so much for your sleep? Well, because serotonin synthesized in the brainstem is the direct primary precursor for melatonin. If vitamin D isn't there to activate that specific brain gene, your brain literally cannot produce enough serotonin. And without that serotonin, no melatonin. So, a deficiency in this single hormone completely shuts down your body's primary darkness signal, which really illustrates how this prohormone maps out the entire brain like a masterclass in neurochemistry. And it doesn't just stop at serotonin. Vitamin D directly calibrates the exact neurotransmitters that shift us between being awake and being in deep sleep. It regulates dopamine in the basal forebrain to keep you alert during the day. It controls GABA receptors to calm neural excitability so you can actually drop into deep, restorative non-REM sleep. It even modulates glutamate, which is absolutely crucial for REM sleep. If this hidden operating system goes offline, your brain simply doesn't have the chemical keys to unlock deep rest. No wonder we're tossing and turning.
Part 2. The vicious cycle of suffocation.
This is where the biological trap really closes in on us. Step 1. A molecular deficiency in vitamin D physically weakens your pharyngeal dilator muscles. Those are the exact muscles responsible for keeping your airway open at night. Step 2. Because those muscles are weakened, your airway collapses during sleep, causing repetitive suffocation or hypoxia. Step 3. Your sleep violently fragments just to keep you breathing, which causes a massive spike in inflammation. And then, step 4, the resulting profound daytime fatigue guarantees you're going to stay indoors, reducing your sun exposure, which plummets your vitamin D levels even further. It is a devastating, inescapable closed loop.
Let's look at the deeper mechanism beneath that loop. Those repetitive breathing pauses cause severe drops in oxygen, which triggers cellular alarm bells that activate systemic inflammation. But here's the truly fascinating part. This repeated airway obstruction physically blunts the nerve connection between your brain and your gut. Because of this, your gut just stops actively absorbing dietary vitamin D. So even if you eat a bunch of it, your body is trapped in this panic state and refuses to absorb the exact hormone it desperately needs to recover. So how on earth do we break that loop? Well, when we mechanically restore oxygen to the body using CPAP therapy, the data is striking. Over a 12-month period, patients who struggled with using the therapy remained deficient. hovering around a low 20.4 nanograms per milliliter. But the patients who effectively stopped the nocturnal suffocation, they saw their serum vitamin D naturally rescue itself, rising significantly to 25.8. It shows that by fixing the mechanical breathing issue, you actually restore the biological environment needed to synthesize hormones.
Part 3. Decoding the circadian clock.
This right here is perhaps the most profound revelation in our explainer today. Vitamin D doesn't just indirectly influence your sleep. Its active metabolites physically enter the nucleus of your cells, bind directly to your DNA, and regulate the transcription of your core circadian rhythm genes. We're talking specifically about the genes named clock, BMAL1, and PER2. Think about that for a second. You are looking at the literal gears of your internal clock being turned by a molecule that is synthesized from sunlight.
And the complexity of this synchronization is just staggering. Your hypothalamus is packed with specific receptors. Think of them as microscopic, highly specific locks. The active metabolites of vitamin D act as the master keys. They interact with receptors like AHR, ROR, and RevERB to bind directly to the promoter regions of your clock genes. This is exactly what calibrates the amplitude, the periodicity, and the robustness of your entire biological rhythm. So when the sun hits your skin, it isn't just making a vitamin, it is physically winding the clock of your brain.
Part 4. Rewiring for human longevity.
When this operating system runs on a deficit, the long-term consequences are, quite frankly, severe. Prospective cohort studies mapping out brain health reveal a pretty chilling timeline. After just 3 years of low vitamin D, we see a measurable decline in cognitive function. Stretch that deficiency to 8 years, and there's a significant association with all-cause dementia risk. And by 13 years of tracking, individuals face a highly elevated 5-year risk for the onset of Alzheimer's disease. It perfectly illustrates how chronic sleep fragmentation and hormone deficiency compound over the decades to literally degrade the physical structure of your brain.
But the good news? The reverse is absolutely true too. And this is the ultimate longevity code. When optimized, vitamin D literally rewires the brain to defend against neurodegeneration. It upregulates vital neurotrophins, like nerve growth factor, which act as fertilizer to keep your neurons alive and thriving. It acts as a powerful membrane antioxidant to protect your fragile dopaminergic neurons from oxidative stress. It even downregulates the REL-B gene to suppress the body's master inflammatory switch, NF-kappa B, and regulates calcium homeostasis in the aging brain. It's basically an intricate, multi-layered shield against the cellular damage that causes aging.
We've journeyed from the molecular synthesis of serotonin to the mechanical collapse of the airway, down to the genetic clock in your hypothalamus, and all the way out to the decades-long trajectory of human longevity. We've seen exactly how these invisible systems dictate everything from your morning energy levels to your long-term memory. The operating system is no longer hidden. So the question I'll leave you with today is this. If a single hormone born from sunlight and synthesized in your cells controls the literal clock of your brain, how will you choose to set it tomorrow? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep optimizing.